Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for inviting me.
Joanne Johnson, school board candidate, District 308. Joanne, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And we have Trish Tabor. Did I get that right, Trish?
Yes, Mark, you did. Thank you.
Excellent. Trish, school board candidate for District 92. And next to Trish is Tammy Hayes, also a District 92 school board candidate. And kind of sitting off camera a little bit is Jay Rohde, who will be getting in front of a mic later in the show because a lot of things we want to talk to him about. But for starters, to all our school board candidates here, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, it's really an honor to have you here in studio. I'm going to start with you, Joanne. As we know, this is a really tough election cycle for everyday moms and dads and single moms. Why did you want to run for school board in such a divisive, toxic environment this election cycle?
That's actually exactly why I'm running. When I moved into the district 27 years ago, we were at an 82% proficiency. And today, Oswego is at a 32% proficiency. And some folks are okay deflecting and saying that some kids are really bad with taking tests, but that does not account for the 50% decline. And COVID was absolutely an eye-opener. And the fact that the board was not hearing what the parents were saying as to the impact of our actions that we took as a result of COVID was really an eye-opener. And professionally, I am at a point where I've been able to take a step back from the 80 hours a week and do consulting to where now I have time to give back to my community.
Excellent. Trish and Kevin, I'm going to get to you last, my friend. Ladies first. I know you'll understand that.
That's the way it should be.
But Trish, same question to you. Single mother,
Yes. Yes, I am.
and Pritzker is going after all the single moms, and I'm sure, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I wanted to ask you, Trish, again, such a toxic environment. Was there a moment that you said, you said, you know what, I'm going to run in this upcoming school board election?
Yes, is when I had 92 teachers begging me to run for District 92 board, saying, Tricia, please run. The sex curriculum that they're wanting us to teach to third graders, to naturally masturbate to a third grader, how to normally masturbate to a third grader. My mouth hit the floor.
And we can't even use that word. I know George is going to cut it out. We can't even use these words on radio. And so, Trish, the point is you're making our point, and don't worry about it. It's okay. George is busy back there. I can see him.
Sorry, George.
But
Sorry.
listen, the point is, and this is a very simple litmus test, and feel free to share this to your voters and constituents. We can't mention these words on radio. I cannot read the curriculum on radio as a grown adult. So what makes this okay to teach it to children, to first and second graders?
It's not.
It's not. This is a very simple litmus test. Tammy, I know you're shaking your head, and it's great to see you again. But
Thank you.
just for the refresher, again, what was there a particular moment where you said, "I'm running for school board"?
I would say there was and the moment was when I was going to the high, because my youngest is a high schooler. We were going to the high school boards, and we were meeting other people who seemed to have the same opinions that they were struggling. Their kid was struggling during the COVID, during the Zoom classes. And the more I talked to people, the more I felt there was a lot of people who would if they could, but not everybody had the time. My youngest is a senior now. So ideally, I would have more time. Of course, I'm one of those people, as someone once told me, if you want something done, ask a busy person and they'll get it done. And I'm just one of those people. If I see someplace where I think it's important for people to be, then I will step up. when I was a young mom, I never even thought twice about the curriculum. It was the public school. It was school. They teach math and science. And if you're lucky, you get rocket class in 6th grade. And, the very basics is what I really thought was going on. And the more I stepped back from the high school level and started to look, I really felt that I could do the best with the younger grades, the K through 8, like Trish is running in the same slate as me.
Kevin,
Yes.
last but not least, my friend, the thorn amongst roses here. Kevin, this is a really tough election cycle, and we're going to talk about some of the attacks that you and others have had this already in this election cycle. But Kevin, tell us about during your maiden voyage here on Mark My Words about why you are so passionate about being elected to your local school board.
Thank you, Mark, for the opportunity, first of all. I became passionate about running for the school board. I went to my first school board meeting during the pandemic, and the parents on both sides had issues around the mask mandate. I sat in that audience and just watched the hatred fly back and forth, and I was deeply, deeply saddened by that. I felt that with my experiences, some of the things I've been through in my career as a senior executive, that I could bring this community together by sharing those experiences. I believe that majority of the parents out there, if we sat down, we could find similarities pretty easily. We all want the best for our children. We might disagree on what that might be, but I think if we sat down at the table, 80% of the things that we would come up with would agree. And then we can come to the table and talk about our differences. And, with parents' rights, I believe that as long as there's choices, we could come to some similarities with that as well. I don't think we're really that far apart. So I just wanted to bring those experiences and watch, as I've watched in some of the teams that I'm currently responsible for, those changes. I've brought groups of folks together, both in the U.S. and non-U.S., and watched when we first met, folks were at odds. But as we brought the idea of family and community within my teams, those teams came together like brothers and sisters. And I do believe that when I look at another human being, I see them as my brother and sister. And that's lost in our community today. So I want to try to bring that back. That will bring these kids together. That will help them with their mental health challenges. I saw a bunch of that both in the students and their parents during the pandemic and onward. I've been in situations in which I've had parents call me indicating they were going to commit suicide. I was able to talk with them with my experiences that I've had over the last 4 years and get them the help that they required. So do I think all of that is within me? No. I think there's a higher power driving me to do what's best for these children, to do what's best for their families, and do what's best for this community. And I will be here amongst all adversity to make that happen.
Kevin, thank you for that. And we're going to continue full hour